If you are a qualified coach and the clients aren't consistently coming in, then it's really easy to assume that something must be wrong. Maybe it's your niche isn't right, maybe your marketing isn't good enough, maybe you need a better website, another qualification. But after working with over 200 qualified coaches over the past 4 years, I have noticed something really important. And most coaches don't struggle because they're bad at coaching. I've actually never seen that to be the case. But they struggle because the things that actually lead to gaining those coaching clients are uncomfortable. Not complicated, but uncomfortable. And that is what I want to talk about today. Hello, welcome to Women in the Coaching Arena. Whether you are listening on YouTube or a long-time podcast listener, I am so glad you are here. I'm Jo Lott, a business mentor and ICF-accredited coach, and I have helped hundreds of qualified coaches build coaching and consulting businesses that bring in clients. And the most popular question that I get asked is, can you just tell me how to get clients? I would love it to be so simple. So let's try and break that down for you today. When many coaches imagine getting coaching clients, they often think about it as a big breakthrough. So maybe mapping out that perfect funnel, a big launch, the perfect niche, maybe a viral LinkedIn or Instagram post, and expect something to suddenly change overnight. And the boring truth is that most coaching businesses grow in tiny, tiny steps, usually through a series of very specific actions repeated consistently over time. Relationships that start to build, conversations that finally start to convert, your skills in marketing and sales that finally start to pay off, and eventually that brand recognition, which does take time and skill to build, starts attracting those paying clients consistently. And all of these things, most of all, take a little bit of courage. I remember when I first started my coaching business, I had no confidence at all. There was no possibility of me showing up on social media or anywhere else for that matter. I honestly thought I could find some other way of gaining those coaching clients without being visible. So I hid behind really busy work so my husband and family wouldn't keep giving me grief as to why I wasn't making any money yet. So I kept saying, once I map out this email nurture sequence, then I will start to earn money. Once I get this website done, once I have a branding photo shoot, and kept making excuses and putting things in the way that were just not the right things to do at all. None of those shiny, wonderful things brought in income. What did bring in income is having real conversations and overcoming that fear of being visible, showing up online, and showing up in so many other places too. I also spent so much time learning every coaching technique that I could ever possibly consume, so I would always know how to handle every type of person or question that might come my way through building my business, and genuinely must have spent hundreds of hours learning coaching. And bear in mind, I was already a qualified and accredited coach. So if you are in that trap of thinking that the more qualified you are, the more clients you will get, please know that that is not always the case. And if you're in that place, I was also there. Only once all of that was ready, I thought somehow that queue would start forming at my door. Looking back, I know that that delayed things far more than it helped, because coaching businesses often begin long before everything is done. Because spoiler alert, it is never done. I am years into business now and I am still not done. You're constantly refining. So stop waiting for it to be perfect and just get out there and make some progress. One thing I would really encourage you to do today, if you are avoiding doing your marketing at all, is write down 50 ways that your ideal client's life will change because of your work. Once you have done that, I honestly think you will not be able to stop yourself from marketing your business. It will help you to shift from being salesy into being of service to these people. So get away from that ego and thinking your business is about you, and really tune in to your ideal client who actually needs your help today. Just yesterday, one of my clients shared that he gained 10 high-paying coaching clients in the first 2 months he's been working with me, and that was from a zero start. He had been made redundant a couple of months ago and is the main family breadwinner. And stories like that bring me so much joy because he needed to make it work. He needs to bring in that income for his family. So he made damn sure it worked. And he did all of that with no website yet, marketing skills that are only just forming because he's only just left his job and hadn't done social media or marketing before. But that didn't stop him signing clients. What he did instead was something that many coaches avoid. He went through his phone and started sending voice notes, text messages, even calling people without an appointment that he hadn't spoken to for a while. I provided tons of different scripts to help him get over the barrier of like, what do I say to these people? And he actually did it. And that is where these clients came from. He also went out there and did an amazing job. So he's had referrals from the first few clients already. He also did gain some clients from his LinkedIn post, despite the fact he'd only just started, because he was so clear on who he helps and how he helps them, that message really started to resonate quickly. And all of those things led to those opportunities. It might sound really simple and easy are very different things. Building a coaching business will be the best personal development work you ever do because all of your business is down to you and the actions that you take. And I do get how scary it can seem because it took me a really long time to overcome all of the fears and start doing this. We worry about bothering people. We worry about looking unprofessional, maybe getting it wrong or wasting that one opportunity to contact that ex-colleague. Like if we haven't got our website ready, what if I've wasted the opportunity because I've done it too early? But really the difference between coaches who sign clients early and those who don't is simply a willingness to do the hard things, and also the volume of those things as well. So please don't do what I did, which was send one message and then wait weeks for that person to reply. Send so many messages that you can't even remember who you messaged, because then at least somebody will reply, rather than getting in your head that they don't like you and that it was a complete disaster. Just up the volume of what you do. So the first thing you need to do to be able to do any of this work is to gain that clarity. People need to understand what you help with. If someone asks what you do and your answer is vague and they glaze over, it's really hard for them to think of someone who needs your help. But when the message is clear and specific, then people will start to join the dots in their heads. So, for example, I saw a great coach on LinkedIn recently who helps empty nesters figure out what's next. And I couldn't help but to tell my neighbor who has teenage kids and have just left home about this coach, despite the fact that I'm also a qualified coach and I know I could easily help her. The fact that this person said empty nester and my neighbor said, my kids are leaving home, I'm an empty nester, I couldn't help but join those dots and connect them. So that is what you are looking to do. Be so specific that people can't help but think of someone to refer to you. That clarity will make it so much easier. The second pattern is recognition. So people need to see your work multiple times before they reach out. This is why maximizing your warm contacts in the beginning is so important, because it takes time for those cold people who don't know you yet to start to trust you. There is recent research to suggest that people need to spend around 7 hours with you to actually buy from you. So if you are just posting on social media once a month, for example, that's going to take someone 0.5 of a second of seeing your post before they scroll on by. So you are going to be waiting a really long time to reach that 7 hours with someone. So what you would want to do is build up what I call shallow marketing, which is your LinkedIn posts or your Instagram posts, but also deep marketing. So things like podcast episodes, videos, maybe an email list so people come off that platform and come further into your world, read your emails, read your blogs. Sometimes people reach out quickly, but very often someone has been quietly looking behind the scenes at your work for months, even years, before contacting you. So that recognition of who you are can build slowly, but once it's there, it becomes really powerful and you will never need to send cold DMs or do any outreach again, because people will start coming to you. The third pattern I notice is generosity, and this is my favorite. It's really simple, but definitely underutilized. So again, another thing I talk about often is paying into the value bank. So be generous with people online. So instead of complaining that no one ever likes your post, go out there and like 100 people's posts today. Put genuine comments on their post. Think about how you can make someone's day today. I listened to a podcast with Brendan Burchard, and he says every day he wakes up and thinks, what can I do to make someone smile today? And it sounds a bit cheesy, but it's a great thing to do in the morning, and just think like, how can you surprise someone, send them a gift, send them a card, comment on their post. It doesn't need to be complicated, but just do something to be in people's worlds and make a difference to them, and they will want to return the favor. So go out there, support other people, encourage them, help people to think and see things differently. And when people repeatedly find you really helpful and also are able to articulate the problems that they're experiencing, they will begin to associate you with being able to help them with those problems. Trust is one of the biggest factors in someone choosing a coach. So the more you can get to know someone, the more they will know, like, and trust you. The fourth pattern I see is conversations. Coaching businesses are built on conversations. So talking to people about what you are actually working on, asking thoughtful questions, listening carefully, taking people on that journey with you. And it doesn't need to be like the one person that can definitely help you with your business. Think about the fact that many of us know up to 250 people. So even if your next door neighbor isn't your ideal client, they will still know people who are. So stop waiting to identify that perfect pool of people who might be helpful to you, and just start having more conversations generally. I know about this through my own experience when I did everything I could to avoid doing exactly this. Isn't hindsight a wonderful thing? So I realized finally that I needed to contact my old employers and tell them about my transition into executive coaching. And I really didn't want to do this, like maybe you don't want to do this. I thought I wanted nothing more to do with them once I'd left that place. But actually, when I finally plucked up the courage to message somebody that worked in the L&D team, so actually not the team that I worked in, she took about 2 to 3 weeks to reply. All the time I was thinking, oh my gosh, I never should have done that. She's probably making fun of me with all the people in the workplace. But anyway, she Clearly wasn't, because eventually she replied, she agreed to a conversation. And by the end of that 30-minute conversation, I had secured £10,000 worth of work. And that relationship continued over the years, and even so that I started to pass on the work to my business of coaching clients when I became too busy to take that on. So it was so worth taking that scary step. It was just such enjoyable work, helping engineers in career transition, doing talks, teaching LinkedIn, despite the fact I was just learning LinkedIn. So the opportunities could be everywhere. You just need to have those conversations. So the fifth pattern, this is my final one. And again, another one of my favorites is getting proof. And proof can take many forms. My favorite one is case studies. If you have listened to this podcast or YouTube channel before, you will have heard some examples of case study conversations that I've had. They are so much more powerful than testimonials where people share what a lovely person you are, because people really want to see someone that you've worked with and see if they are the same type of person as them. And I know it's not always easy. My clients always say, well, my clients won't give me case studies. And I know it can be much more tricky depending on if you're working with corporates or what type of work you're doing. But don't generalize, like ask 10 people to give you a case study and one might say yes. So if that first person said no, don't think my people won't give me case studies. Try again. Like lots of my clients also say, no, sorry, I really don't feel comfortable doing that. And others say, I would absolutely love to. So don't make those generalizations. Get out there and try and build those case studies as much as you can. One of my favorite examples of this recently is a client who came to work with me because of my case studies. And she said, no one will ever leave me case studies like that. How do you get people to say such amazing things? And now she has about 4 or 5 absolutely amazing case studies. I literally watch them and think, my gosh, that's amazing what a change you've had in that person's life. And she honestly thought that no one would ever give her a case study like that. So I love seeing those beliefs shifted. So if you're telling yourself any of this stuff today, then just know that it will be possible for you too. In summary, the first thing you want to do is get clarity. The second is to build that recognition. Know that you are in this for the long haul and it's going to take time for people to start seeing your stuff and start recognizing your brand. Third one is generosity. Go out there and give until eventually you will start to receive. Have more conversations, and finally, get proof. Those things done consistently will create momentum in your business. That is where your clients will start to come in more consistently. Your confidence will grow, seeing their confidence grow. Your testimonials, case studies will grow. Word of mouth will start to begin, and suddenly your business will start to feel very different. So if clients are feeling slow right now, it doesn't necessarily mean you are doing anything wrong. It just means your foundations need to be stronger, your volume probably needs to be more, and that consistency needs to be built in. Relationships also take time. Trust takes time. The work you are doing today will pay off in 3 months' time, not next week. So don't throw the baby out of the bathwater if what you've done now doesn't pay off tomorrow. If you want to be taken step by step through the process of building your business, and that may be a business that you have had for years and just want to go back and redo those foundations, then I have got a 2026 Coaches Planner. It's not just a simple plan your year. It will also take you through why you want your business, your niche, your offer, the marketing, things like tracking your numbers, as well as that yearly planning and reflection. So do grab that in the show notes. I hope it's super helpful for you. You can also find the paper copy on Amazon. So just search for 2026 Coaches Planner, Joanna Lott on Amazon, and you can get yourself a copy posted to you tomorrow. So I hope today's episode was helpful. And like I always say, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed.